At Fulchester Crown Court, Margaret Terson, a senior official in the Foreign Office, stands accused of offences under Section 2 of the Official Secrets Act. It is alleged that she conducted herself in such a way as to endanger the safety of secret documents entrusted into her care. Miss Terson is pleading not guilty. Acting on information received, Special Branch police officers maintained a close surveillance on her when it was learned that she had formed a relationship with the young East German Hans Muller. Muller was part of an East German trade delegation visiting Britain. They were followed to various places, and eventually police officers armed with a search warrant entered Miss Terson's flat. They discovered Muller in a room with the defendant. In addition, they also found documents classified secret, which had been taken by Miss Terson from her office. The prosecution, led by Jonathan Fry, QC, has opened its case, and Inspector Collings of the Special Branch has just been sworn in.
Circumstances leading to the defendant's arrest?
Yes, sir. On June the 2nd of this year, as a result of information I had received, I was maintaining a close surveillance on Miss Terson.
What is a close surveillance?
Around the clock.
24 hours?
Yes, sir. We divided the day into 3 8-hour shifts. I was accompanied by Sergeant Rawlings. On June the 4th, she met a man in town, greeted him in a friendly manner. They went into a restaurant. After eating, they visited a cinema.
And after that?
He took her home in a taxi and left her at the entrance to the building where Miss Terson maintains a flat. The name of the man was Hans Muller.
What country was he from, Inspector?
East Germany.
And did you find out what he was doing in this country?
Yes, sir. He said that he was a member of a trade delegation visiting Britain to foster better trade relations.
Really?
That's what he said, sir.
My lord, if my learned friend is a witness in this case, I have no objections to his ironic asides. And however, if he is not a witness, I submit he confined himself to his role as advocate.
Yes, Mr. Elliot. Go on, Mr. Fry.
You were recounting your surveillance of the accused, Inspector.
Yes, sir. The defendant met Muller on several subsequent occasions until July the 1st, when he entered her flat for the first time.
Were you present on all these occasions with Sergeant Rawlings?
Yes, my lord. I saw all this, if that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Was the defendant with Muller when he entered her flat?
Yes, they arrived in a taxi. They had a conversation outside, and then they went into the building.
What time was this?
At 11:28 p.m.
Did the defendant leave her flat that evening?
No, sir.
Did Muller leave the flat that evening?
No, sir.
What time did he leave?
At 8:12 the next morning.
Would you now refer to the events leading to the defendant's arrest?
On the 7th, she met Muller, again on the 8th, and again on the 11th.
Did Muller again spend the night in Miss Terson's flat?
Yes, on 2 occasions.
Go on, please, Inspector.
On September the 10th, I received certain information about a set of documents classified secret.
My lord, there will be evidence that these documents have been signed out to Miss Terson and that they were missing from the safe where they were supposed to be kept while they were in her care. What did you do, Inspector?
I applied for a search warrant, intending to enter Miss Terson's flat the next time that Muller visited her.
Why did you want to search her home?
Well, at 6:10 p.m. on the 10th, Miss Terson was seen leaving the office with a special Foreign Office briefcase.
Did you report this fact?
Yes, sir. And then after I'd received certain information, I obtained a warrant to enter her flat the next time that they were seen together.
This certain information, I'm sure my learned friend would not object, was that the documents were missing.
Yes, sir.
Go on, please.
On the night of the 11th, the defendant and Muller entered her flat at 10:15 p.m. At 10:45, I knocked on the door, accompanied by Sergeant Rawlings. The door was opened by Miss Terson. I showed her the search warrant, explained who I was and the purpose of my visit.
Did you search the flat?
Yes, sir. In the living room, where Muller was seated, there was an open drawer in a writing desk. And in the drawer, I saw several documents stamped with a secret classification.
My lord, there will be evidence that these were the documents that were missing from Miss Terson's safe. Did she say anything, Inspector?
I cautioned her and told her that I was arresting her. She said, "I have nothing to say." Muller spoke to her in German, something which I couldn't understand. She nodded, and she said nothing more until she was taken to the police station, and there she was formally charged with offences under the Official Secrets Act. By that time, her solicitor had joined her.
Did the defendant make any statement after she'd been charged?
Yes, sir. She said, "This is all a ridiculous mistake. I'm innocent."
Thank you.
Well, let's at once go to the nub of your evidence, Inspector. When you entered Miss Terson's flat,
Yes.
what was Hans Muller doing?
He was sitting down
Where?
on the settee
Where in the room, Inspector? Geographically, in which location?
in front of the fireplace.
Not at the writing desk.
No, sir.
Can you recall if Hans Muller was doing anything while seated in front of the fireplace?
Well, the record player was on, and I think he was listening to music.
Listening to music.
Yes.
And it's right, is it not, that at no time did you see Hans Muller anywhere near the writing desk which contained the classified documents?
No, well, they were lying in an open drawer of the writing desk.
I don't care if they were pinned to the lid, Inspector. The fact is, when you entered the flat, Hans Muller was not looking at them, was he?
Not when I entered, sir, no.
Inspector, you know better than that. Now, let's keep speculation out of this courtroom, please. Did either Miss Terson or Hans Muller say anything to suggest that he had been looking at them?
No, sir.
No. Did you see him look at them?
No.
No. Did you find any photographic equipment on Hans Muller?
No.
No. Did you find any evidence on him to suggest that he was planning to copy the documents?
No.
Have you had much experience in espionage work, Inspector?
Some.
In your experience, what's the most difficult part of your job?
Catching spies in the act.
Oh, you mean at the decisive moment when one person hands material over to another?
Yes.
Now, why is it necessary to catch them doing this?
Well, to prove that the offence has been committed.
The documents were found to be missing on September the 10th at 7 p.m.
Approximately.
What time did you obtain the search warrant?
Within the hour.
So you and your staff kept close surveillance on Miss Terson for 24 hours before taking any action.
That's true.
And do you think she was aware that she was being watched, followed by you?
I'm positive she wasn't.
During those 24 hours, Miss Terson and Hans Muller were together in a number of places. The park, for example. Quiet, unobserved. And Miss Terson could have handed the documents over then, could she not?
Well, that's true.
But although Miss Terson had the opportunity to hand the documents over, or at least let Muller see the documents, she didn't do so, did she?
No. Not while they were in such places where we had them under direct observation.
You kept them under surveillance all this time and took no action because you hoped to catch them in the act.
Of course.
Without success. When you finally entered the flat, you did catch them.
Yes.
Listening to music.
Will you remind us, Inspector, of the time at which Muller and Miss Terson entered her flat on the night of September the 11th?
At 10:15 p.m.
10:15 p.m. And you entered at?
10:45.
Ample time, in fact, for the documents to be shown.
Yes, sir.
Commander Riley, would you give us your full name, please?
Augustus James Riley,
And where do you live?
number 3, Apple Close, Fulchester.
I believe that you are Miss Terson's immediate superior in her department and that your duties include security.
Yes, that's right.
I believe that you also had responsibility for the investigation into Miss Terson's conduct between June and September last.
Yes, that's right. I initiated the inquiry.
Did you make any inquiry about Hans Muller?
Yes. I found he was from East Germany and that he was a Communist Party member.
Commander, what is the accepted procedure for civil servants when they associate with someone who is regarded as potentially hostile to the British government?
File a short report on why the meetings took place and, briefly, what transpired.
Did Miss Terson do that?
No.
Well, had you given her any instructions to get into contact with members of the East German Trade Mission?
No.
Rather, it would be said against you that all that Miss Terson did wrong was to fail to report on her meeting with Muller, presuming it was nobody's business but her own, and to take classified documents from their proper place.
With respect, that's nonsense.
So the correct procedure, even for a senior civil servant like Miss Terson, was to file a report on her meeting with such a man as Muller.
Yes.
Thank you. Would you remain there, please?
Do you know many senior civil servants who break security rules, Commander?
I don't know any.
Miss Terson will be gratified to hear that.
except the defendant.
You seem well informed as to what your fellow workers do and do not do.
We know it happens that senior civil servants take home classified papers to work on. They usually have a safe to keep them in. However, they do not bring communists back to their houses at the same time such papers are there.
Well, suppose you heard of someone taking home a confidential or secret documents, even if they had a safe. What would you do?
I should ask them to stop.
That's all?
Yes?
Why did you not ask Miss Terson to stop?
Before she removed the documents, she was already under surveillance because of a suspect relationship.
Was it because you wanted to accumulate circumstantial evidence, the evidence of association?
I was not conducting a witch hunt.
Why didn't you stop her the day she left her office carrying the papers in the briefcase so carefully noted by your watchdogs? Why didn't you simply ask her to return the papers? Why let her go home when you knew full well that she was engaged in, to use your words, a suspect relationship?
For the simple and obvious reason. We didn't know she was carrying them until a search was made later and they were discovered to be missing.
You didn't recognize the Special Foreign Office briefcase. How would you categorize your job, Commander?
That could take all day.
Yes, it could. First, in relation to security.
I attempt to keep it,
You keep secrets secret.
if you like.
You see, why I ask, it appears from this case that you were prepared to wait until secrets were given away before you acted.
I don't follow you.
The prosecution hold that Miss Terson allowed an unauthorized person to see classified documents. They're saying she gave away secret documents.
What is your point?
Well, my point's quite simple. If you were doing your job, keeping secrets safe, surely you would have spoken to Miss Terson when her suspect relationship became known to you. Now, what I fail to understand in this entire business is that you allowed her to continue seeing someone whom you had judged unsuitable without ever once asking her for an explanation of her actions.
If a person becomes a security risk, they must be removed. One cannot do so without proof.
So now we come to the preposterous notion that in order to maintain security, we must wait until someone destroys it before taking any action.
It may seem preposterous to you. It's all part of a most frustrating, invidious, but essential job of work that anybody with security responsibilities is required to carry out.
Yes, but the fact remains, nobody approached Miss Terson during these long months of surveillance to tell her to stop seeing Hans Muller.
No.
No. You say you waited for her to break the law, to conduct herself in such a way as to endanger the country and these papers.
Which she did.
Commander, surely that's what we're here to determine. And once again, I ask, why did no one suggest to Miss Terson that she should stop seeing Hans Muller?
The fact that she herself did not report on her activities was in itself incriminating and worth investigation.
Commander Riley, what is the policy when someone such as a civil servant who has access to secret material forms a friendship with a person known to be a communist?
Usually, my lord, they are reminded of the professional hazards involved and told to stop. But in this case, there was evidence to suggest there was more to it than that.
More to it than what?
We had reason to believe that Muller was a spy and that Miss Terson was cooperating with him to divulge restricted information.
All the more reason to tell her to stop seeing him, I'd have thought.
All the more reason to prove our suspicions and thereby remove an untrustworthy employee of the government.
Commander, why do you believe Hans Muller to be a spy?
I am not at liberty to say in open court.
Does your information come from an intelligent source?
I am not at liberty to say in open court.
My lord, I request that the court be cleared so that we may hear this evidence.
I am extremely reluctant to adopt such a procedure, Mr. Elliot, unless it proves absolutely necessary.
My lord. All right, Commander, let's try it this way. Why did you assume that Miss Terson would cooperate with this alleged spy?
Are you at liberty to say why, Commander?
I'm sorry, my lord, if I upset Miss Terson's sensibilities.
I think the mere fact of her presence here has already done that.
I had come to the conclusion that Miss Terson was infatuated with Muller. Her cooperation with him seemed very likely.
Could you substitute the words in love with for infatuated?
Yes.
Well, your conclusion was definite, I take it.
Why else did she fail to report her association? after an immaculate career, 18 years or more in public service, she neglects the most basic rules of her profession and compounds that by taking classified papers out of her office where Muller could see them. That, in my view, suggests infatuation.
In your view?
I can't think of any other explanation.
I can, Commander. I suggest Miss Terson fell in love with Hans Muller and he with her. I suggest that at no time did Miss Terson contemplate treason. All she is guilty of is taking documents home without authority. I suggest Hans Muller did not see the documents nor had any interest in seeing the documents, and I further suggest that you and your staff have put 2 and 2 together and you've come up with 5. You say you have reason to believe that Muller was a spy. But since you did not detain him, and since you are not at liberty to give this court proof of your allegations, you cannot expect this jury to accept your assumptions.
Commander, could we go further into Miller's background if the court were cleared?
I should need to get instruction on that point.
Mr. Fry, why was this not given in evidence in chief?
It's a question of obtaining authority, my lord. If authority could be obtained, I would like to recall the commander at a later stage.
Very well, Commander. You may leave the witness box.
Call over James Barclay.
What religion are you, please? Take the Bible in your right hand and read the words on the card.
I swear by Almighty God, the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You are Herbert James Barclay?
Yes.
You live at Mapleton House, Little Wingrove, near Fulchester.
Yes.
What is your profession, Mr. Barclay?
I'm a member of Her Majesty's Diplomatic Service.
Which department are you currently serving in?
Classification of documents.
Were you doing this last September?
Yes.
Would you explain to the court what that involves?
Well, I'm responsible for putting the various classified marking on material thought to need it.
Would you tell the jury exactly what that means?
For instance, a lot of reports come in from various sources, which are recommended to have a restricted circulation. My job is to see they get it.
And what kind of mark do you put on the papers?
We use mainly the words top secret, secret, confidential, or restricted, according to their priority.
Is this clearly marked?
Very.
On every page?
Yes, top and bottom.
Would it be easier to overlook this classification?
Perhaps if you're blind. We don't mark in Braille.
I would like you now to look at Exhibit 1, the papers over there. The jury all have copies, my lord. Do you recognize these papers, Mr. Barclay?
Yes.
They are marked secret.
Yes.
Without going into their contents, would you tell the court what they are?
They're part of a report from one of our embassies abroad.
Did they come through your department when they arrived?
Yes, they
And
did.
did they arrive with the secret classification which they now possess?
No.
Would you explain, please?
The embassy was asked to report on the subject involved. They did so and sent back 2 or 3 pages. Their contribution was not classified because it was not regarded as any more than open stuff.
By open, do you mean that anybody could read it?
Yes.
Go on, please.
Then the report was added to by people in this country, and the comments analyzed. It was then that the secret mark was put on.
By whom?
By me.
Just you?
Well, no, I took advice, of course. But it was my decision. The final say-so was mine.
And what happened to these papers after they'd been classified?
Well, they were put into a folder marked secret and circulated to the various departments who were interested in the subject.
Did these include Miss Terson's department?
Yes, they did.
At each place where they rest, are there appropriate security precautions to cater for the sensitivity of the material?
Yes. Each office has a combination safe. Anything as highly restricted as this will be put in it at the end of the day, or indeed whenever the office is left vacant for any period of time.
Did Miss Terson have such a safe?
Yes.
On September the 10th last, were you contacted with relation to some of the things to do with your office?
Yes.
Or would you briefly tell us what it was all about?
I was telephoned at my home by the security department. I went back into the office and collected my register. And then I went round to see Commander Riley and other security staff.
What is the purpose of the register?
It gives the circulation progress of classified documents.
Yes?
Well, it appears that a search had been made for these. I found in my register that Miss Terson had signed for these documents.
Lord, there are copies of the register, but I won't trouble the jury with them unless my learned friend wishes it. Thank you, Mr. Barclay. Would you stay there, please?
Mr. Barclay, I'm not going to ask you who sent which set of papers to which department. That doesn't interest me.
Very well.
I'm much more intrigued by your duties as a classification expert.
I am not an expert.
As far as this court's concerned, you are, sir. Now then, let's turn to this business of the final say-so. You say you take advice on how to mark a document, but the final decision is yours, correct?
Yes.
After taking advice, you decided to mark these papers, Exhibit Number 1, secret.
Yes.
When you choose the word secret, what does that imply?
Well,
Now, God forbid I should ask you to divulge vital information, Mr. Barclay. Just generally.
it means that the contents are such that if they were made known to an unauthorized person, it could put the state in great danger.
In great danger?
Yes. I know that.
Now, what exactly... Sorry, Mr. Barclay, I interrupted you. Please go on.
I was merely going to say, I know that sounds melodramatic. The words are not to be taken literally. I hardly think that this country would be destroyed if this material were leaked. Nevertheless, harm would most certainly be done. Sometimes the word secret is to protect the originator of the report, to stop his identity being made known.
I see no originator's name here.
There isn't.
So it was the analysis that sent this into the rarefied areas of secret.
And the additional material.
Very well, Mr. Barclay, I take your point. To classify something secret does not necessarily mean that we're all due for extinction if this document, were leaked. But the originator might be endangered by it.
Yes.
Mr. Barclay, suppose I were to ask you to read aloud this document in the court.
I should have to refuse. I could not do that in open court.
Why?
Well, as I've already said, it's highly classified material.
The classification you ordered?
Yes.
Well, why did you order it thus?
I thought we'd been into all this.
Bear with me, Mr. Barclay. Why?
My reasons for classifying this document secret are themselves secret.
Mr. Barclay, as to this document you thought fit to call secret, there's danger to the state. I have here a copy of an article from a foreign newspaper. Now, this predates your secret report, Mr. Barclay, and it's almost a word-for-word description on the self-same subject. Now, there's almost nothing in your secret report that's not contained in this article. Now, what I want this court to hear is how it can be that in one form this information is available to anyone with the price of a newspaper, and in another form it's extremely damaging and dangerous to national security if seen by unauthorized persons.
I cannot answer that question in open court.
I must insist that you do, Mr. Barclay.
Lord, may I respectfully ask for the court to be cleared if the defence insists on pursuing this line?
My Lord, I oppose any motion by my learned friend to have this evidence heard in camera. I ask this question not only on behalf of my client, but also on behalf of the public.
Lord, this is an irrelevant issue. Notwithstanding the contents, I submit that the defendant clearly showed a classified document to someone who was not authorized to see it.
Silence in court.
During the first day of the trial of Margaret Terson, accused of passing secret information to an alleged foreign agent, the court contained some heated moments when the defense, led by James Elliott, QC, opposed prosecution's application to the judge to have the court cleared while certain evidence was heard. The moment arrived as the defense was cross-examining Mr. Barclay, a Foreign Office official who had classified as secret the documents Miss Terson is supposed to have allowed a friend, Hans Muller from East Germany, to see. Elliott dropped a bombshell in court when he produced a photostat of a newspaper article which he claims to contain all the information in the secret document. He has asked for a comparison to be made in public hearing, which will of course mean that the secret papers will be read out. Prosecution, led by Jonathan Fry, QC, has asked for this to take place in private, behind closed doors. The court adjourned for the evening. Mr. Justice Waddington said he would decide this morning when the case continues.
The question arose before we adjourned yesterday about hearing certain evidence in camera because of its classified nature. I recall that a decision in the House of Lords in 1913 allows evidence in court to be taken in private depending upon the confidentiality of that evidence. However, I intensely dislike barring the press and public from my court, and after much consideration I do not intend to do so today if it can possibly be avoided.
May I please, Your Lordship?
Yes, Mr. Fry?
The defendant is charged with endangering the safety of a document entrusted to her in confidence. In my submission, it is quite wrong of the defence to seek to inquire into the contents of the document. It was marked secret and was therefore entrusted to her in confidence.
Do you agree that this is irrelevant, Mr. Elliot?
Respect, my lord, it's most relevant.
Lord, it doesn't matter if the Foreign Office chooses to stamp a national news bulletin secret. Miss Terson must have been aware that it was a classified document. It was therefore given to her in confidence.
My lord, the defence in this case states that Hans Muller did not look at these documents nor had any interest in seeing these documents while they were, admittedly wrongfully, in Miss Terson's flat.
Wrongfully, and that, my lord, is the basis of this whole
With
case.
respect, my lord, it is not. Now, if Miss Terson had copies of news bulletins, she would not be in her flat when the police raided. She would not be in this courtroom today.
If it was, I repeat, marked secret, she would be.
Well, all the more reason, my lord, to question the authorities in marking it secret. And they cannot claim infallibility of the papal kind if, say, they made a mistake, used the wrong stamp, and thus caused an innocent person to be charged with the most serious offence. Surely this court has a duty to probe such a mistake.
We do not maintain a mistake was made in this
Mr.
case,
Fry. Mr. Elliot. The matter is clear enough to me, members of the jury. In case you find yourselves confused by this quarrel between counsel, I will restate for you the law which concerns us. Miss Terson is accused of conducting herself in such a way as to endanger secret documents entrusted to her care. The police have stated that the documents and Herr Muller were both found in her flat at the same time, and the documents were in an open drawer. The prosecution has alleged that Miss Terson had shown or intended to show the documents to Muller, and they say that by removing these documents from the office safe and taking them home in this way, she endangered their safety. The validity of the secret classification is a different question entirely. Let's have Mr. Barclay back in the witness box. Oh, clearly the court will have to hear this evidence in camera. Will you clear the court, please? You are still on oath.
The court is clear, my lord.
Thank you.
Mr. Barclay, yesterday you told this court that you were responsible for marking these papers secret.
Yes.
I now ask you to look at a copy of the newspaper article from Le Monde, please. Did you have an opportunity to study this article during the adjournment?
Yes, I did.
Does it resemble the classified material?
Yes.
In fact, all the information contained in the documents found in Miss Terson's flat is set out in this article, is it not?
Yes, that's true.
And do you agree it predates your secret report?
Yes, by a week or more.
Now, doesn't the existence of such an article invalidate the secret grading of the Foreign Office dispatch?
Not at all.
Why not?
When a paper is classified within the Foreign Office, it is to denote to those people employed within the office that they must not disclose its contents. Perhaps the content of the paper is available elsewhere. That is irrelevant. An employee agrees by signing the Official Secrets Act not to pass on or intend to pass on or to endanger the safety of that particular paper, which is marked secret or confidential.
Mr. Barclay, do you doodle?
I don't understand.
What do you doodle? Well, suppose one morning at work there was a newspaper lying on your desk. In your hand was a rubber stamp with the word secret on its pad. In an idle, absent-minded moment, you bring down the pad on the paper. Later on that day, you take the newspaper home with you and you throw it away. Would you be committing an offense under the Official Secrets Act?
Well, no. I mean...
Precisely. Thank you, Mr. Barclay. No further questions.
Mr. Barclay, I hope you have enjoyed as much as I have the feast of red herrings provided by my learned and witty friend. Nevertheless, we have now established that the documents we maintain Miss Terson showed or intended to show to Hans Muller were validly marked secret. Was she bound by the Official Secrets Act not to do so?
Yes, she was.
Thank you, Mr. Barclay. Unless your lordship has any further questions?
Mr. Barclay, I am impressed by your summary of the state of affairs when you use a classified mark to signify that certain documents must be kept secure and restricted by the employees of the service. And I think we have heard enough about the possible fallibility of the marking of such material. Thank you, Mr. Barclay. You may leave the witness box. Now, let us proceed from there.
That, my lord, is the case for the prosecution.
Very well. Let the public be readmitted.
I wish to call the defendant, Miss Margaret Terson, please. Miss Terson, until September the 11th of this year, you were an active member of the diplomatic service.
Yes.
How long were you employed in the service?
18 years.
Members of the jury, I shall not embarrass Miss Terson by asking her to state what her civil service reports have consistently maintained, namely, that her work has been of the highest competence and that her record is unblemished. Miss Terson, how many overseas tours have you completed?
In all, 7.
When did you return from your last?
About 6 years ago.
6 years. Is that a long or a short time to remain posted at home?
It's rather long.
Do you prefer to work abroad or at home?
Abroad.
You like to travel?
Yes.
Is there any other reason?
Yes.
Will you please tell the court what it is?
It's a personal matter.
Please answer, Miss Terson.
When I was 23, I was engaged to be married. My fiancé was killed in a car crash in London. Since then, I've preferred to work abroad. For some reason, England persists in holding unhappy memories for me.
And during the last 6 years, did you make inquiries as to why you didn't get another overseas post?
No, there was no particular reason. It happens sometimes like that if there's a shortage of staff at home.
Do you feel any resentment about remaining in England?
No, none at all.
Can we come to this matter of your taking classified papers home with you?
Yes.
You were aware that this is against regulations?
Yes.
That you were liable for a reprimand or perhaps worse if discovered?
Yes.
Do you take this kind of material home often?
Yes. Whenever there's pressure at the office.
Please explain that.
Well, in order to complete the work that I don't have time for during the day. If it's busy at the office, phones ring and people constantly come in and out. One's always having to leave the work in hand to do something more immediate.
Do many people take work home? Papers that, strictly speaking, should remain under lock and key?
It happens.
I see. Very well, Miss Terson. You agree that owing to the pressure of work, you broke the rules and took classified material home with you to complete in the peace and quiet of your home?
Yes.
Now, when did you first meet Hans Muller?
It was in April sometime, I think.
Was that this year?
Yes.
Where did you meet him?
At a party.
Was that an official party, a diplomatic reception?
No, it was at the house of some friends.
Did you know he was from East Germany?
Yes.
From the moment you met him?
Yes, he made no secret of it.
Did he tell you that he was a communist?
No.
Why not?
for the simple reason that he is not a communist.
But he was a member of an official trade delegation visiting this country with a view to improving economic relations with the East German government.
We didn't talk very much about politics. He told me privately that he didn't hold communist views, and because it's unwise to publicize that sort of thing where he comes from, we decided not to pursue the matter.
Of course. And you believed him?
Yes, I saw no reason not to.
Miss Terson, did you report your friendship with Hans Muller?
No.
Why not?
Because if I had, I would have been asked to end it.
Were you prepared to do this?
No.
Sorry, Miss Terson, I don't think the jury heard that.
No, I was not.
Did it not occur to you that your association with Muller might give rise to suspicion and possibly affect your career?
Yes.
Why then continue seeing him?
Because I was in love with him.
Did you fall in love at once? Was it, forgive the cliché, love at first sight?
If not first, second.
He made an impression.
Yes.
When were you aware that you were in love with Hans Muller?
About a week after meeting him.
That would be, what, the beginning of May?
Something like that, yes.
Did you immediately develop a sexual relationship?
No.
Was it ever discussed?
If you mean did Hans try to persuade me to sleep with him? No, he didn't.
When did you start your sexual affair?
Some weeks later. I believe the police have a note of the time and the date.
Yes, 11:28 on July the 1st, they say. During your subsequent meetings with Hans Muller when he visited your flat, were you then bringing classified documents home with you?
Yes.
Were you not aware how serious this would seem to your superiors?
Well, I didn't give it very much thought.
Well, someone like yourself, with such a distinguished record, surely it must have struck you the hazards. I mean, here was a person from a communist state whom you permitted to your flat whilst you were in possession of confidential documents.
Mr. Elliot, I've been working for the diplomatic service for 18 years. During that time, I've been approached on all sorts of occasions by people hoping to dig out various bits of information. Believe me, I'm an old hand at spotting them. Hans Muller was not one of those people. I knew he was not. For me, that was sufficient.
Would it be sufficient for your employers?
It was none of their business. I decided after meeting Hans Muller that my personal life was of more importance than considered opinions of the security department.
In other words, you were prepared to sacrifice your career for your love of this man?
Yes, I was.
Miss Terson, did Hans Muller ever show any interest at all in your official life?
Never.
You felt confident within yourself that classified material you took home would not be secretly or openly examined by him?
Hans Muller spoke no English. We used to converse in German. The documents were always in England. If he had seen them or glimpsed them on any occasion, he wouldn't have understood them.
Which would mean that you were not endangering the safety of those documents.
Correct.
Hans Muller could not understand them.
Correct.
Now, the police maintain that when they entered your flat, the documents were lying in an open drawer.
Yes, they were.
Why was the drawer open?
Well, I'd been looking for something when the police knocked. There were lots of drawers open. We'd been listening to the record player, and I'd mislaid the pad used for cleaning it. I was looking for it when the police arrived.
Mm-hmm. And when the doorbell rang or when they knocked, were you alarmed? After all, it was fairly late.
Well, I was puzzled. I don't usually get callers at that hour.
Is there a lock on your desk at home?
Yes.
Do you normally use it when the desk is holding material from the office?
Yes.
A few more questions. Was Hans Muller in love with you?
Yes, he was.
Was marriage discussed?
Yes. We went away on holiday to Greece together. Hans mentioned the possibility.
This would have meant giving up your profession.
Yes.
One final question, Miss Terson. Are you still in love with Hans Muller?
Yes, I am.
Thank you very much.
Miss Terson, you agree that you were at fault in bringing home this highly sensitive material with you?
I cannot deny it.
Indeed not. It was there in your flat when it should have been secure under lock and key in your office.
Yes?
Moreover, it was in a drawer which had a lock on it, yet the drawer was unlocked and standing open.
Yes.
Nevertheless, you deny endangering its safety.
I do.
You deny that you ever showed it or intended to show it to your lover.
I do deny it most strongly.
And let me ask you this. After your long and distinguished career, you must have been aware that to entertain a man from a communist country in a room containing secret documents that were not secure was the most damaging state of affairs, should it be discovered by the authorities, even if you'd no intention of showing them to him. Well, Miss Terson.
You said you were going to ask me a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was implicit, if you prefer not to make an answer.
I was aware.
Thank you. Yet you went ahead and did it.
I was confident that no damaging state of affairs existed, except in the minds of the security department.
As far as your personal career was concerned, that was bad enough.
I had given over 18 years of my life to my career. I felt I owed myself a bit of consideration.
Quite. But let me ask you this. You could have avoided the trouble in which you now find yourself by not bringing home secret documents when you were entertaining Herr Muller, couldn't you? Now, if you'd observed this very simple precaution, you wouldn't be here today. Is that not true?
Yes.
Yes. And this very simple precaution, for the sake of the security department, must at some point have occurred to a woman of your diplomatic experience.
I suppose it did.
I suppose it did. And yet you did nothing about it.
As I've said, I was confident that Herr Muller was not interested in my work, and that if he'd seen any of it, he wouldn't have understood it.
But, Miss Terson, we are talking about how it would seem to others, to what you dismissed as the considered opinions of the security department.
My lord, I don't think it can be fairly said that Miss Terson's answer implied contempt for the security department.
She certainly was not paying security department a compliment, or so it seemed to me at least.
Well, let us leave the subject of your apparent unconcern with your future career, Miss Terson. Now, you said more than once that you were quite sure in your own mind that Muller was in love with you and was not a spy. That is, that he was not interested in you for the information which you possessed.
Yes.
Your certainty is based, you say, upon previous encounters with people who were spies, or at any rate, snoopers.
Partly, yes.
Did you fall in love during any of these previous encounters?
No.
This time you did, though.
I have said so, yes.
A strong feeling of love for someone can often blind us to the less pleasing characteristics about them, wouldn't you agree? Some highly intelligent women, for instance, find themselves falling in love with men who are calculating mountebanks, and what is more, continue to remain in love with them long after their true nature has been revealed.
My lord.
Yes, Mr. Fry may be about to lecture us on the romantic behavior of the female sex, Mr. Elliot, but I think we should allow him to continue a little further.
I'm perfectly aware of what you're insinuating. I don't care, you may think what you like. I'm not going to cross words with you about the state of my feelings.
I do not wish to cross words with you, Mr.
All right. To you, I acted out of infatuation. What could he see in me? There must be something more to it than that. I beg your pardon.
You say you doubt if Muller could have understood the documents even if he'd been interested in them because he couldn't speak English.
Yes.
You could have translated them for him.
I could, but I didn't.
Well, we'll have to take your word for that. You say that you met Muller at a party given by a friend.
Yes.
How did he come to be invited to this party?
They were German friends.
Living in London?
Yes, I met them when I was serving in Bonn 10 years ago. Hans's parents and their parents used to be neighbours.
And a few days later you fell in love?
Yes.
Sexual relations, however, did not begin till later still. What did you and Muller talk about during these early platonic days?
My lord, the absence of sex does not thereby make a friendship platonic.
Yes, indeed it does not. Go on, Mr. Fry.
What did you talk about, Miss Terson?
Well, we talked about lots of things.
Well, could you name a few of them for us?
Well, we talked about places we'd visited in Germany, about mutual friends.
Politics?
No, I told you we kept off the subject.
You kept on it long enough to discover that he professed not to be a communist.
Yes.
Did you know that he was, in fact, a member of the Communist Party?
I knew he was a party member, but that doesn't necessarily make him a communist.
Did he volunteer this information, or did you ask?
I don't remember.
You would do well to, Miss Terson.
Why?
If you asked, you would be acting along usual professional lines of conduct, wouldn't you? You would be showing caution.
Well, he was introduced to me as coming from East Germany. I assumed that he was a party member.
But not a communist.
No, he told me privately he did not subscribe to communist doctrine.
I'm glad your memory is coming back to you at last.
I suppose you have to say things like that.
Only when it's called for.
What are you trying to prove?
I am suggesting that in order to secure your confidence, he told you he was not a communist. A very dubious remark, since he was in fact a member of an East German trade delegation.
Perhaps it was dubious to some.
Who first mentioned love between you, Miss Terson? You don't remember?
I did.
I'm sorry, would you speak up?
I did.
You first declared your love to him.
Yes.
And did he return his love?
Not at first. A short while afterwards.
You protested your affection for this man, and subsequently, a short while afterwards, he told you that he too was in love.
Yes, but you make it sound commonplace.
I am trying to summarize what you say occurred, Miss Terson.
You're making out that I threw myself at Hans. It wasn't like that.
How old are you, Miss Terson?
39.
39. How old is Muller?
26. Or 27, I don't know.
26. Will you describe him as handsome?
Yes.
Did you find him charming?
Yes.
Witty?
Yes.
I put it to you that you were flattered that this highly presentable young man paid you such immediate attention.
Well, I was flattered, of course I was flattered. But there was far more to it than that.
We've heard that marriage was discussed between you, that there were more permanent plans for this relationship.
We did talk about it. You have no right to imply that everybody is lying.
I am not accusing anybody of lying, Miss Terson. I am simply trying to point out that Hans Muller, a presentable, handsome, witty, charming young man who had 3, 4, or 5 months to spend in England, but certainly not more, could afford to mention any romantic notion that occurred to him. He would very soon be going back to his own country. What is quite clear is that he was not going to settle here, so why not throw in everything he'd got? Marriage, engagements, promises, why not promise you with earth?
No, it wasn't.
He obviously
like
had no
that.
difficulty in persuading you that anything he cared to say would be instantly believed.
No!
No, well, answer me this then. What persuaded you to abandon 18 years of training? To neglect to perform the most elementary professional precautions and become his mistress? What made you, on record as having pursued an unblemished and spectacularly successful career, what made you throw it all over at one stroke, Miss Terson?
No,
What?
it wasn't like that. Oh, my God, it wasn't like that.
During yesterday's hearing of the case in Fulchester Crown Court, where Margaret Terson is pleading not guilty to offences under the Official Secrets Act, there were dramatic scenes when she was cross-examined by prosecuting counsel Jonathan Fry, QC. Counsel for the defence, James Elliott, QC, called Miss Terson as his first witness when she said she had fallen in love with a young East German, Hans Muller, sharply denying the allegation that he was a spy who made her acquaintance merely to extract information from her. Fry queried her opinions about Muller, and under intense questioning about the nature of her friendship with him, Miss Terson broke down. Shortly afterwards, Mr. Justice Waddington adjourned the court. It is now 10:36 the following day, and Miss Terson is still in the witness box.
Call Margaret Terson.
Remember, you are still on oath, Miss Terson.
Miss Terson, in reply to prosecution's questions yesterday, you said you were sure that Hans Muller was not interested in the information you possess as a result of your work in the Foreign Office.
Yes.
That you fell in love with him and he with you.
Yes.
and that the prosecutor's version, that of your infatuation with someone who paid attention to you in order to secure information, is not true.
No, it's not true.
You also referred to your decision to think of your personal life before your career after a long and dedicated service.
Yes, but that decision didn't affect my judgment.
No. Taking this last point, were you thinking of resigning from the diplomatic service before you came due to retire?
Not actively, no, but I'd known for some time that I wasn't likely to get much further up the ladder, and perhaps that affected my attitude.
Had you reported your friendship with Hans Muller and been told, because of his communist background, to choose between the man and your career, would you have agreed to leave your job?
Yes. After we came back from holiday in September, I would have preferred to resign.
But before?
Earlier, I wasn't sure.
So you didn't report your friendship for fear of losing your job over something you did not then see as having a future?
Yes.
But it was worth breaking the regulations because you wanted to find out if there was to be a future with this person?
Yes.
Looking back on the events of the last few months, Miss Terson, is there anything in your conduct you regret?
No. Nothing.
It has been said you could have avoided the charges you now face by not taking classified papers home on an evening you intended to entertain Hans Muller.
I know that taking the papers home with me looks like pure stupidity. But by the time Hans began to visit my flat, I trusted him. I knew he wasn't a spy. To have gone on taking precautions in case he still might be would have seemed to me to be cheap and dishonest.
So you don't regret not having taken these precautions despite the trouble you made for yourself by not doing so?
No, I do not.
You do not regard the safety of the papers as ever having been endangered?
No, I do not.
Thank you, my lord, unless you wished.
Miss Terson, would it be correct to say that you had reached a stage in your career where you were looking for an excuse to end it?
No, my lord.
Had you not met Herr Muller?
Well, I would have gone on working. I can't think of anything else I could have done.
Yes, I see. Thank you very much. You will now take the accused back to the dock.
Call Mrs. Helga Warren, please.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Would you state your name and occupation, please?
Helga Warren. I'm a psychotherapist, also a housewife and mother.
And you live at 7 Christchurch Hill, Fulchester?
Yes, I do.
Do you know Miss Terson?
Very well.
For how long?
We met in Germany about 10 years ago.
And you now live in England, is that right?
I became married to an Englishman, yes.
Do you know a man called Hans Muller?
Yes.
Well?
No. Hans' parents and my parents used to be neighbors in Berlin before the wall was built.
Did you invite him to a party that you gave in April of this year?
Yes.
And did Miss Terson also attend?
She did.
And did you introduce her to Hans Muller?
Yes. I think I introduced everybody to each other.
Quite. Mrs. Warren, weren't you worried for Miss Terson's sake that you were in fact introducing her to someone from a communist state, knowing as that you did that she was a senior member of the diplomatic service?
Of course not.
Why not?
Margaret is quite capable to look after herself.
In August of this year, were you and your husband with Hans Muller and Miss Terson on holiday in Greece?
Yes, we were.
And did Miss Terson confide in you her thoughts of Hans Muller?
Yes. She was in love with him, and he was also in love with her. I was most pleased. Margaret deserved to find happiness. I think she found it with Hans.
So you approved of the match?
Very much.
Do you not think it odd that Miss Terson should make herself susceptible to official reprimand by her association with a communist?
She told me Hans said he wasn't a communist. I believed her. He struck me as an honest man who would not tell a lie.
Whilst on holiday, were you acquainted with their talk of marriage?
Margaret told me Hans had proposed they should marry one day. Yes, and they discussed it with us one evening.
Any specific date?
No, I don't think so. Just one day.
And you approved?
My husband and I were very happy for both of them. We liked Hans. He made Margaret laugh. He made all of us laugh. He was generous and kind.
Did you ever have any reason, Mrs. Warren, from what you observed of Hans Muller, to suspect the genuineness of his friendship towards Miss Terson?
Never. Even if he had an ulterior motive, he would have failed. No one had a higher sense of duty to her country and to her work than Margaret.
One last question, Mrs. Warren. Did Hans Muller speak any English?
No.
Thank you. Would you remain there, please?
Mrs. Warren, you were close friends with Miss Terson?
Yes.
Were you single when you first came to England?
I was, yes.
Must be quite an advantage to know someone in public service.
I do not follow.
Well, to do various favours to avoid the worst excesses of red tape as you settle down over here.
I came here to work. I had a job. I became married. I didn't need Margaret as a way to get me any of those things.
I see. You were pleased when you heard Miss Terson was to be married?
Of course.
Because you wished her to be happy?
Well, naturally.
Did you speak much to Herr Muller about his private political views?
No.
No, but as a fellow German, one from a rival German republic, you must have formed some idea of his political beliefs.
I'm not a political person. I like people or I dislike people. Their politics have nothing to do with it.
And you liked Herr Muller?
Yes.
Because he made Miss Terson happy?
I have said so.
You say also you're not a political person, communist, right-wing, radical, conservative. It doesn't matter to you when you decide to like or dislike someone.
No, it doesn't matter.
And you like Hans Muller?
Again, yes.
I know this sounds repetitive, Mrs. Warren, but bear with me.
Yes, very well.
You see, you are here to help defense counsel convince the jury that Miss Terson was carrying on a sincere and reciprocated love affair with a man who, although representing a state run by a communist regime, was himself not a communist.
Which I believe.
Oh, indeed you do. But I suggest, Mrs. Warren, from listening to your remarks, your lack of interest in politics, your desire to see Miss Terson happy, that had she fallen in love with Mao Zedong, you would have seen nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with falling in love.
No, Mrs. Warren, there's nothing wrong with falling in love. Except, as in this case, where many other people, many other interested parties can be made to suffer as a result.
I do not understand.
No, Mrs. Warren, because you believe, do you not, that love is all. More important than the risk of disclosing state secrets to a man whose country would benefit by learning them.
I can only speak my beliefs.
Thank you, Mrs. Warren.
Thank you, Mrs. Warren. I have no questions. You may leave the witness box.
Mr. Godfrey Heinrich Muller, please.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Would you tell the court your name and address, please?
Gottfried Heinrich Müller, Stuttgart 18, Wilhelmstraße 62.
And that's West Germany?
Yes.
And you're related to Hans Muller?
I am his brother.
And he lives and works in East Germany?
Yes.
For the government?
Yes, civil service.
Would you describe to the court, please, how it came to be that you moved into West Germany while your brother Hans stayed in the Democratic Republic, the communist side?
Lord, what Hans Muller may have said to his brother on other occasions is hearsay, and in my submission, inadmissible.
It is perhaps hearsay, Mr. Fry, but I think that any statements explaining Hans Muller's beliefs or emotions or even relevant actions are admissible under an exception to the hearsay rule. You may answer the question, Mr. Miller.
Thank you. After we left school, we both went to the university in Leipzig. That's the East Zone. I became architect and I gained permission to live in the West. Hans is economist, civil service. He was offered a job with the government.
How long ago was that?
About 6 years. Jobs were hard to find then, so Hans accepted.
Is it necessary to be a communist to do what Hans did?
Well, if you are a fascist, it is more difficult to find a job.
Yes, I can see that.
Hans became a member of the Communist Party and they gave him work. They need economists and Hans is a good one. So he said he was a good Marxist-Leninist and they believed him.
Did he ever join a communist party while you were studying together at Leipzig?
No.
Why not?
2 reasons. In the Youth Communist Party in Leipzig, all the men were boring and all the girls ugly.
When did you last see Hans, Mr. Muller?
Oh, this morning.
Where?
In Stuttgart.
Where in Stuttgart?
In my flat.
Has your brother visited East Germany since he left England?
I can say definitely not. Hans has been staying with me all this time. He waits for Margaret.
Thank you, Mr. Muller.
Herr Muller, you say you're brother has left his job and his country and has come to your flat to wait for the accused.
Yes.
Why is he not here today in this courtroom, giving evidence like you?
Well, I have come for him.
Well, Hans is a grown man. The authorities would have given him permission to enter this country again if he wished, to attend this trial. Why is he hiding behind his elder brother?
He's not hiding behind me. Hans is hiding behind no one.
I repeat, why is he not here today?
He's afraid.
Afraid? Of what?
He's afraid of the authorities.
Which, his or ours?
Here.
Afraid of the British authorities?
They think he's a spy. He's afraid of arrest.
Oh, come on, Herr Muller. The authorities didn't arrest your brother when they detained Miss Terson. Why should they do so now?
He does not trust authorities. They put Margaret in prison, and she is not a spy. So he prefers to stay safe and wait.
Stay safe?
Yes.
Is that the action of a man deeply in love, Herr Muller?
I cannot allow that, Mr. Lotterby.
My lord. You come to plead for whom, Herr Muller, your brother or Miss Terson?
Oh, for both of them. The police have made a mistake. They're not spies.
If Hans were a spy, would you?
Oh, I know Hans.
You haven't seen your brother for much these last 6 years, have you?
No, but...
No? So he might be all the prosecution here is claiming him to be. You'd be none the wiser, would you?
No, he's my brother.
But a stranger for 6 years.
Hans and I are close. We know each other. We are a close family. You must not save your strangers.
I'm merely suggesting that you haven't...
You are a fool.
Muller, there's no need to get so upset. Merely asking you a few simple questions.
You are suggesting I lie. I love my brother. The stupid police interfere. They arrest Margaret, they call Hans a spy, and they're idiots. He is in love with Margaret. What do they know about it?
Please keep your temper, Mr. Miller. You will not impress either myself or the jury by raising your voice.
Now, he must not say these things.
I said very little, Herr Muller. I'm merely suggesting that you do not know, cannot be expected to know everything about a brother whom you've hardly seen for the last 6 years. That's all. Oh, one more question, Herr Muller. Is it possible your brother has learnt English during the last 6 years?
Possible?
Yes or no, please?
Yes.
Members of the jury, can you imagine what it must be like to do a job where the office routine continues after work? Few of us would relish such a job, yet some people have to do it, and the civil service is one of these professions, especially that branch of it where the defendant worked. At the level she had reached, the pay is high and the responsibility equally exalted. The self-discipline demanded is exceptional. Still, people who do these jobs know the sacrifices they will be asked to make, and they have to be judged by the standards they have settled for. People who have access to classified documents are in a difficult position. For instance, the temptation to take their documents home is very great. Yet, if they do not keep their private life and their work apart, they are heading into danger. And if they are in danger, so are we. For their actions directly affect the safety of every being in this island. Now, Margaret Terson loved a man from a communist country. Commander Riley has told us that for reasons which you will appreciate have to remain secret, he was suspected of being a spy. Now, whether he was in fact a spy, we cannot at this time be sure. But men in his position are inevitably suspect, and Margaret Terson knew this. Still, he was young, attractive, and plausible, and she, who had known sorrow and no doubt loneliness, responded to his charm. He told her that he loved her. He lulled her into a state of trust where she decided not to report her association with him, and grew slack enough to bring home secret documents and leave them in a drawer where he could easily see them. Moreover, the register in her department was checked on only one occasion, so who knows what was in the other documents she admitted bringing home on other days and kept in the flat where he could easily see them. Now, whether the things that were in these documents have been reported elsewhere is entirely beside the point, for in security matters, discipline is absolute. I would remind you of the words of Mr. Barclay, that the reason that a document is classified within the Foreign Office is to denote to people that work in that office that in no circumstances must they disclose its contents or endanger its safety. Now, this is a sad case, but we must not allow sentiment to cloud our judgment. It is the prosecution's submission that Margaret Terson did indeed endanger the safety of documents entrusted to her care. Under the Official Secrets Act, she was bound not to do so. In closing, I would ask you to consider her own words in the light of her professional responsibility. She said, "By the time Herr Muller began to come to my flat, I trusted him. I know he was not a spy. To have taken precautions in case he might be would have seemed to me cheap and dishonest. I ask you, members of the jury, would it have been dishonest to take the simplest of precautions with regard to a man, however agreeable, who was the representative of a potentially hostile foreign power? What harm could you possibly do, Herr Muller, by taking these precautions? What untold harm might she do her country by neglecting them?
Please, my lord, members of the jury. The prosecution state that the only possible reason for Hans Muller's association with Miss Terson is a sinister one, namely that he's a spy. And this assertion by my learned friend is based upon the evidence of Commander Riley. Now, he's told us that civil servants, when they become friendly with communists, are reminded of the possible hazards involved. Was the accused? He also tells us that many civil service employees take documents home with them. When this is brought to the attention of the security department, they're told to stop. Now, these employees are not automatically charged with offences under the Official Secrets Act. And thus, they are not inevitably regarded as having endangered the documents. Now, why was it that Miss Terson, after 18 years of unblemished conduct, was not given these same considerations? Well, the commander went on to say, and I quote, "We had reason to believe that Muller was a spy. We were never given evidence to substantiate this accusation. I am not at liberty to say is no substitute for the facts." My learned friend secured permission to recall the commander, and we assumed he would then furnish us with the facts. Why was the commander not recalled? I suggest the obvious. No proof exists. Now, if Hans Muller was believed to be a spy, why was he not detained? Why was he not placed under close surveillance? And he wasn't. It was Miss Terson who was singled out as the target. On September the 10th, Miss Terson left home taking with her classified documents. And following her usual pattern, she locked them up in her desk. Late in the evening of September the 11th, she opened the desk to look for something. A pad to clean the records she and Hans Muller were listening to. Now, members of the jury, if Miss Terson had those documents for sinister motives, surely she'd have hidden them away when the police knocked at her door. If she was cooperating with a spy, would she have supplied material that was available in a newspaper? Or can you believe that this lady is so inexperienced as to rendezvous with a spy in her flat, not once, but regularly? My learned friend, in summing up now, says that Hans Muller may be a spy. Well, by such reasoning, his lordship may be a spy, but thankfully the law does not recognize maybes. We are innocent until proven guilty. He has also advised you against sentiment, meaning a tendency to be swayed by feeling rather than reason. Well, I put it to you that there's room for both. Your reason will tell you that based on the facts, Miss Terson is innocent. And your feelings will assure you that her relationship with Hans Muller transcends politics and ideologies, and even countries.
Thank you, Mr. Elliot. Members of the jury, the time has now come for me to sum up, and you will shortly be asked to bring in your verdict. You are the sole judge of the facts in this case, and I must direct you to consider the guilt or innocence of the accused solely in the light of those facts. You must not allow yourselves to be swayed unduly by feelings of pity for Miss Terson, feelings possibly accentuated by the eloquent appeal of her counsel, and you must be completely sure of the charge which has been made against her. It is quite a simple one, and it is this: that she conducted herself in such a way as to endanger secret documents entrusted to her care. And the prosecution allege that she allowed an unauthorized person access to these documents. Now, there is no doubt that she did take secret documents to her home and did leave them in a position where her lover, a member of a foreign communist party, might see them. And you may think that although the documents had already been published in a foreign newspaper, that did not alter the fact that they were classified secret, and therefore remained secret for all purposes in this country. And Miss Terson well knew that, and that it was her duty not to risk publishing them to anyone, least of all to a putative enemy of this country. On the other hand, you may take the view that since the documents had already been published overseas, she was not acting in such a way as to endanger secret documents. But if you do take the view that Muller was interested in these documents, and that Miss Terson did give him the chance to see them, then you have no option under the law other than to find her guilty. Now, the question of her guilt or innocence is for you to decide, ladies and gentlemen. It is not an easy task, but I leave the judgment of it in your capable hands. And now, will you be good enough to retire to consider your verdict?
Court will rise. All stand. The prisoner will stand. Will the foreman please rise? Members of the jury, will you answer this question, yes or no? Have you reached a verdict upon which you are all agreed?
Yes.
Do you find Margaret Terson guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Thank you. Will you sit down, please?
Despite the sympathy felt for Margaret Terson, Mr. Justice Waddington sentenced her to 18 months' imprisonment, but it will be some time before she'll be able to forget the events of the past few days.